We are still here. We're still kicking. We're still up. We're still running. And this is our 10th mailbag episode. So this is a big one, the big number 10. We're double digits. So welcome into the 10th episode of the Uncorked Mailbag. I'm Taylor Korn, and I'm just going to give y'all a little update on what's been going on in my life since we last chatted. And first off, I want to start with talking about my work anniversary. I believe it's actually June 1st. I think that that's the anniversary of my start date. It is obviously well past that, but I forgot to ever mention it, and I honestly kind of forgot about it. I think it was on a weekend or something like that, so it just slipped my mind. But something that I want to talk about is finding your job after you graduate. So if any of you listening are in high school or in college or about to graduate college, really no matter what age you are, unless you've already defined your career, which you can still listen. I don't know if you want to take advice from a 24-year-old, but please still listen. So one thing that really stressed me out when graduation was nearing from Auburn was finding a job. So a lot of my friends that I lived with and that I hung out with in Auburn and that are still some of my very best friends to this day, which that was only 2 years ago, but I had a lot of nursing friends, and they don't really have much of a decision to make when they graduate. They're going to be a nurse. They have a decision of what kind of nurse they want to be, but they're going to be a nurse. It's not like they're trying to figure out what industry they're going into. So for someone like me or many of you out there, if you're a business major, for example, I was a marketing major, finding a job can be a little bit stressful because there are 50 different roads you can go down. You can do finance, you can do marketing, I can't list them all. I don't know them all. And that's something that I realized when I was going to graduate. So probably about March of my senior year, so 2 months before I graduated, I realized I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do. I knew that I didn't want to wear a pantsuit every day or dress business casual, but other than that, I was clueless. I've always loved sports, and if you listened to, I believe it was the first episode, it was one of the first few, I talked about how I got my job, how I got into the sports media industry. And I knew that I wanted to do something that involved sports because I loved watching the games. I am a huge Auburn fan, and it's just something that I've always been passionate about, enjoyed paying attention to, and just loved following. So I started looking for jobs, and you don't realize what all is out there until you start looking. That's what I learned. I'm not going to go through the whole story of how I got my job because you can go back and listen to that, I believe, in the first episode if you're interested. But what I wanted to say was don't rush yourself. So my parents were very kind and thoughtful throughout this process with me. And I told them, look, I don't want to be just scrolling through LinkedIn, applying for every job I see just so that I can have a job when I graduate. I don't want to find a job or apply for a job just to have a job. I don't want to find just the highest paying job, anything like that. I want to find something that I enjoy because I'm going to go from waking up every day excited for what Auburn has in store for me, living with all my friends, going out to the bars, to a job where I wake up at 6 o'clock and dread going to work every day. So that's my piece of advice for the week, for the episode. Maybe I'll give you more later. I don't know. But basically, wait until you find something that you enjoy. Wait until you find something that you're passionate about and excited about because it really makes work fun. It doesn't make work feel that much like work, which sometimes you're going to have to do things that you might not want to do. Some mornings you might wake up and not want to go to work. But I will tell you that for 99% of the days that I've been working, I have woken up and I've been very excited to go to my job. And it's a huge blessing because not everyone can say that. And not everyone has that. So I know that everyone's raised differently and some households are different, but I was very lucky in the sense that my parents were not rushing me and they were very patient. And I waited until I found the job that I thought that I would love, that I would enjoy. And here I am today still loving and enjoying it. So that's my tip of advice for you. Do not go with the highest paying job. Do not go with the first job that you find. Wait until it is something that you're passionate about, because now I'm sitting here over 2 years later and I still love it and I'm still happy and I don't dread going to work. I miss my coworkers and I miss my job when I'm on vacation. So if that doesn't say enough for you, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to share that and motivate some of you. Or if you hate your job, maybe try and find one that you enjoy, because it will make your life less miserable. You'll be happier. So that's my 2 cents on the job market. I really don't have much experience because I've literally only had one job and that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm very happy that I went about things the way that I did. So I just wanted to share that. If there are any soon-to-be graduates stressed out about finding a job, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. The perfect opportunity will come your way and everything will be fine. And if you start your first job and don't like it, stick with it for however long you can and then find something more enjoyable. And at least you know what you don't want to do. I forgot my pink wine glass, but we're back. So next, I was at a wedding this weekend for 2 of my very good friends that I love dearly, Caroline and Brinson. The wedding was beautiful. It was in Birmingham, so I didn't have to travel. I had friends from out of town staying with me. It was fantastic. It was incredible. And a lot of people my age are getting married, which has made me think a lot recently about the fact that I'm probably going to run out of roommates one day. Like, I'm in no rush to get married. I'm living my life. I'm having fun. I'm not about to get married. And a lot of people my age seem to be getting married soon. And yeah, so that's just something that I've been thinking about that I wanted to share, because I think I might be running out of roommates soon. So cheers to that. And Erin, my sister, if you're watching, please keep your guest bedroom open, because when it comes to re-sign a lease, I might not have any roommates to live with. Okay, that's really dramatic. I'm definitely going to have roommates to live with, but still, it's crazy. And being at the wedding this weekend made me think of that. I also humiliated myself on the next round this past week. It was really, actually, it wasn't traumatizing. I don't want to say I embarrassed myself a lot, but it's not the first time I've embarrassed myself. But I'll just give you all a quick rundown of what happened so I can clear my name. Lance and Brown were out last week. They were on vacation. So Emily Grace and I were sitting in with Dunaway for the week. Emily Grace is a lot more put together, polished, proper, intelligent. I'm trying to find 2 things to compare ourselves to. Dunaway, we were talking about back to weddings. We were talking about weddings for some reason. And Dunaway was pointing at EG and was saying royal wedding block party, because I do want to have a block party. So that's kind of how you can compare us. So she's very put together. I was rolling out of bed with a sweatshirt and bedhead and looking like a mess with no makeup on, and she has a very, very cute outfit on. She's looking put together. She's killing life right now. Okay, so we're playing trivia because the Meltdown guys, Lunsford and Melton, are doing a little trivia series this summer. So they were giving us a little sneak peek on the next round of what we were doing. So me, EG, and Dunaway are the contestants. I'm horrible at trivia. I do not know any fun facts. I don't know any random facts. I don't know history. I don't know geography. It's hard, and I need to educate myself, but I just don't know. So EG gets a question about history, and you can pass it to a competitor, to an opponent, if you would like to stump them. So EG gets the question about history, and obviously pass it to me, because what do I know about history? Nothing. And the question is, out of the 6 countries that stayed neutral in World War II, name 3 of them. So I have just been to Ireland, and I knew that was an answer. I wasn't very confident in my answer, but I knew that was an answer. I didn't know what was happening after that. And I'm about to re-embarrass myself, but I just need to share. I need to share. We're open and we're an honest book around here. So I was, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to say a country that's not even in Europe, because that's just what's going to happen to me. That's what's going to happen. And I literally said out loud, I said, Mom and Dad, I hope you're not watching this. I'm embarrassing our family name, which I did horribly. And Forrester, who I could call for help, gave me another correct answer. So we had 2 out of the 3. We just needed to think of one more. So I'm sitting there and they're counting down. So imagine me sitting at a desk. I have headphones in. I'm trying to think of a European country that stayed neutral in World War II with all of my brain power. And they're counting me down like 15 seconds. You have 15 seconds left. 14, 13, 12. And Lunsford, our tech-savvy genius, somehow rigs the system to where he can speak into his microphone and I'm the only one to hear it. So I'm sitting there. It's a high pressure situation. I'm like, Forrester, just say something and I'll say it. I don't even know. I don't have an idea. So I'm basically just giving up. So what does Lunsford do? Lunsford whispers into my ear from the back room, Germany. And so what does my dumbass do? I just blurt out, Germany. This is live. We're live on air. So, of course, everyone's dying laughing. And immediately I'm like, no. I know that Germany's not the answer. I know Germany's not the answer. Lunsford was just, or I didn't know it was Lunsford at the point. I was like, someone was in my ear. I don't know. It was crazy. It was awful. And I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, that I embarrassed us and humiliated us. But it was a high pressure situation. And that was a lesson that I learned, not to blurt out everything that you hear and think before you speak, which I did not do. But with that being said, tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, I will be competing in triple threat tornado tag team trivia. I'm pretty sure I just got that right. I'm impressed. On the Meltdown at 2 p.m. Central. So if you want to see me embarrass myself some more, tune in, because that will definitely happen. Or I'll just pass every question and hope that I can win alongside Reed without ever answering a question correctly. But hey, only time will tell, and I will give an update next week. Something else I've had going on is a lot of nosebleeds. Nosebleeds at unfortunate times. If you follow me on TikTok, I posted a video the other day. I woke up in the middle of the night. My nose was gushing blood. Got all over my favorite silk pillowcase, which is, of course, stark white, was seeping through my pillowcase into my pillow. My mom, my angel of a mother, got the stain out of my pillow. Thank you, Mom. And then I got over that. The stains were gone. And then yesterday, I was in the shower washing my face. I opened my eyes and my hands are red. This has happened to me before, so it wasn't as startling as it was the first time, but still blood everywhere. So I can't get out of the shower. And my nose, when it bleeds, it's not just dripping. It's kind of a steady stream. So I can't just get out of the shower to get a paper towel. If I grab the roll of toilet paper, I'm going to ruin the whole thing because my hands are sopping wet. So I just got my towel and I just used my towel. So I ruined 2 pieces of fabric this week in my bedroom with bloody noses, or I guess within the past 2 weeks. So that's been happening. I also worked out. I'm showered right now. My hair either looks really greasy or really clean because it's wet. I just got out of the shower because I exercised today for the second time of 2024, which I'm very proud of and excited about. Huge milestone. And so obviously I was going to shower. I wasn't going to come on here all sweaty. And I'm in a little bit of pain because I have this ingrown toenail on my big toe, and I have self-diagnosed the cause of it being my soccer cleats. I wore soccer cleats every single day growing up for 18 years. And I think because they get narrow at the end, it caused me to have ingrown toenails. So I took matters into my own hands last night and tried to cure my ingrown toenail by myself. It didn't go well, and now I have a heartbeat in my toe. It's throbbing. And then today was the day that I decided it would be a good day to work out for the second time this year with my ingrown toenail, hurt toe injury. So I'm a little bit beat up around here, but we're surviving. We're making it. And I think that's it for now. That's all I have to say about my life update. And then I'll get into answering y'all's questions. But more importantly, I need to tell y'all about something that never lets me down, never gives me pain. I can work out in it. I can go to a wedding in it probably. I can embarrass myself on trivia wearing Rhoback. Rhoback has the attire for any situation that you're in. And it is the attire that I wear most days. It's so comfortable. My dad loves it. I love it. My mom loves it. My sister loves it. Everyone loves it. The guys that I work with love it. And they have anything that you could ever need. They just actually released a new line of women's attire. So they have a bunch of new stuff. They have athletic skirts. They have athletic shorts. They have workout dresses, tennis dresses. They have everything you can need. Father's Day just passed, but if you forgot to get your dad a gift, or if you just want to treat yourself, you can use the code CORK20, CORK20, and you will get 20% off your entire order. So treat yourself today for making it. You're making it. You're living, you're surviving, you're still here. So treat yourself with Rhoback, and you will not be disappointed. Now it is time to answer y'all's mailbag questions. I appreciate y'all submitting these. And if you're confused and wondering where they come from, you can send them to me on social media. I typically send out a request asking for questions. Every week I also do it on my Instagram story. So follow me on social media and you will see question requests throughout the week. You can also just comment them on this video if you have one that you're already wondering. So there are lots of options and lots of opportunities for you to ask questions. Just send them to me whenever one pops into your mind. Question number 1, what is your favorite soccer memory from the days you were playing? This is hard. It literally was my entire childhood into high school. So up until college, most of my life revolved around soccer. I loved it. It was not forced upon me. I loved playing. I enjoyed playing. And I had a lot of great memories. I had a lot of also not so great memories. I got kicked out of practice a few times for just being a little dweeb, causing problems, probably causing a ruckus. But I also had a lot of great memories. So I'll touch on 2 things. One, winning state. I won 2 state championships in high school. My senior year and my sophomore year. Junior year, we lost in the finals, which was extremely depressing. But I'm just glad that wasn't senior year. So I was able to experience winning 2 state championships, which is just the best feeling in the world because you invest so much time, so much energy into the sport, into practicing alongside your teammates in the heat of summer on turf field. You know, you go through all of the struggles, you know, probably missing out on some things, all of the hard work, all of the dedication. So seeing that pay off with girls that you become really close with, and I still keep up with my coach to this day. I love her. She's awesome. That it's just a great feeling because all your hard work pays off. Everyone loves to feel accomplished after they've been working really hard for something for a lot of years. And then second, which I brought this up when I'm pretty sure it was something that you're proud of accomplishing, was a question on the show on the next round when I was filling in last week. I really don't love talking about this just because it makes me feel uncomfortable. But it's a big accomplishment. So that also makes it a favorite memory of mine. But I was nominated for Gatorade Player of the Year my junior and senior year, and I didn't win, which is fine. But both years, the girls who won were committed to playing in college, and I did not have any desire to play soccer in college. I wanted to have a good time. I didn't want to wake up at 6 o'clock to run 5 miles, and I just wasn't going to be committed. My parents didn't try and force it upon me, but my dad was trying to get me to sign somewhere just until the nominations were over, or the voting, whatever. I don't even really know how it works, honestly, for Gatorade Player of the Year. And he was like, maybe you'll win if you're committed to playing in college, and then you can just decommit and have this accolade. I did not go through the trouble of doing that, and I'm fine with not winning. But it was also a testament to my hard work being nominated. It was awesome, and that's something that I'm proud of. I feel like that's one of my biggest accomplishments that I don't really ever talk about, and I'm probably never going to talk about it again. But since you asked, I will I'll share that. I will share that. What is my favorite Auburn basketball uniform combination? And I cannot remember who asked this question, but the submitter of the question said that it is hard to beat the all orange. I do like the all orange because it pops, especially on TV. It's a little different, especially because we do not have orange football uniforms anymore. I know that that's been teased about being brought back for seasons now, but I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know. That's not the question, though. The question is about basketball. I love the all white. I love our all white football uniforms as well, but I just love the all white. I think it's clean, and that's probably one of my favorites. I'm very interested to see what the changes are when we switch to a Nike school in 2025. So this will be our last year wearing Under Armour uniforms across all athletics at Auburn. So I'm excited to see how big of a difference the Nike uniforms are. But I'm going to have to go with the all white. I just think it's clean. I think it's crisp. I think it looks good. I don't dislike any of them, but if I had to rank them, I would say all white is at the top for me. Personal preference. The coolest person I met at Auburn. I mean, my friends probably. I didn't really meet celebrities at Auburn, I guess. I met Charles Barkley a few times, which will run into the next question, kind of. But, I mean, I don't really think that I met any, like, cool or famous people. I was able to meet Brian Harsin when he was there, but that's like a nightmare now. That is not cool. That's not anything that I want to remember. Bruce Pearl. Oh no, actually, I have an answer. So it was my sophomore year, I believe. I think it was my sophomore year. My dad works at Regions. You're probably really confused as to what direction this is going, but my dad works at Regions, and he would sometimes make trips to Auburn for I don't know if it's a career fair, but it's an opportunity for people that are in the master's programs at Auburn to network with companies that come down. So my dad would sometimes come down and meet and greet and mingle with the finance master students. And one person that he was able to meet was Anfernee McLemore, who most of y'all that are Auburn fans know played basketball at Auburn. He was on the Final Four team. And my dad, I remember I went to lunch with him after, and he was like, I met the most impressive guy. And I was like, oh, who? As if I know all 1,000 people in the Auburn Finance Master's program. I probably didn't know any of them. But he said Anfernee McLemore, and he was like, I'm pretty sure he plays basketball here. He said he was the most impressive. He was intelligent. He was, kind, respectful, just all of the good things. And he was like, I really enjoyed talking to him, and I want to come back and watch him play a basketball game. So now, years later, probably 5 or 6 years later, he is one of our great family friends. He and his wife, Ashley, and their son, Maverick, were able to spend time with him every now and then. They don't live super close anymore, but we try and see them, every so often. We love them. And so that was really cool relationship that was formed. It wasn't necessarily me meeting him, but it was my dad meeting him and then me meeting him through my dad. And I love their entire family dearly. They're great people. I don't really know if that answers your question, but that is a great connection that we made and a friendship that will last forever. But my friends are cool, and I met them at Auburn, so I love them, and I feel like I could just throw them into that answer. But I said this tied into the next question, because the next question is, would you rather hang out with Charles Barkley or Bo Jackson? Charles Barkley, hands down, 365 days of the year. I don't know Bo Jackson personally, so I don't want to speak negatively of him, but I do not think he is nearly as embracing to fans of him or of Auburn or of him and Auburn as Barkley is. Barkley, he will immerse himself in all of the settings that he knows fans will be. He doesn't avoid fan areas. He never has and probably never will. He's kind to everyone that approaches him, will sign all the autographs, take all the pictures. He's always friendly. And I'm not saying that this is a knock against Bo, because I probably wouldn't handle it well if every time I walked out of my house, someone was trying to take a picture with me, or every time I was sitting down to eat with my friends or family, people were coming up and interrupting, as people do with celebrities. So I don't blame him for not wanting to be immersed in that all the time. But with that being said, Barkley is my answer, because I actually have been able to spend time with him multiple times through work. The guys that I work with have a pretty close relationship with him, and they've had a friendship with him for, years now, long before I started working with them. So being at events and things like that with the guys I work with, I've actually been able to spend time with him, and he's always gone out of his way to say hello, spend time sitting down with us. No matter if there's 200 people at the party, it's like he always makes his way around and talks to everyone that he can, thanks everyone for coming if it's an event that he's throwing, and makes everyone feel seen, known, and know that that he appreciates them being there. So Barkley, because I've hung out with him before, I don't think that Bo loves that sort of environment, which, again, to each their own. It's not a knock against him, but Barkley, because I know how he is, and I've been able to have conversations with him, and he's a very pleasant and enjoyable guy to be around. He's super fun, super funny. He's hilarious. Oh my God, he's hilarious. Every conversation that I've had with him has made me laugh. So Barkley, hands down, Barkley. I also wonder if he's actually going to retire after next year. Brown said today on the show that he thinks he's announced his retirement 3 times. So I'm hoping that he doesn't, because we, as a country, society, world, are blessed to have him on the TV. And their Inside the NBA show is so, so good. So good. His relationship with Shaq is incredible. I love watching them mess with each other, and I will just be so sad when that's gone. I don't really care about the NBA. The only reason that I watch is because of that show. So I'm sad that it's sounding like after next season that won't be the same, but maybe Barkley will change his mind. Barkley, if you're watching, which I'm 99.99% sure you're not, but please don't retire because you are so entertaining and funny. Back to Auburn, because we love Auburn around here. If Auburn had one play from the 10-yard line to score a touchdown to win the Iron Bowl, pick one quarterback, one running back, and two wide receivers that you'd want on the field. Obviously, quarterback Cam Newton. Cam Newton. I don't think I need to explain that. Wide receiver Darius Slayton. I mean, if I could take him how he's now, like, he has NFL experience, so surely he could score a touchdown from the 10-yard line against a college defense. I'm making up the rules here. I don't know what the rules are to this scenario. I would say Darius Slayton. I would also say Seth Williams. I liked him a lot, and he was also there when I was there, so I threw in a little flavor from my generation of Auburn players. And then running backs, Bo Jackson. Like I said, I was not throwing shade at him earlier. He's not catching a stray from me. I would rather hang out with Barkley, but I would rather have him on the football field if we need to score a touchdown from the 10-yard line, or Ronnie Brown or Cadillac Williams. So that's my answer. Let me know what y'all's answers are to that in the comments. I would be very interested. Kind of a random assortment of people there, but those were the first people I thought of, so that's what I went with. Now, Brad asked a silly question, but it kind of started making me think. It has nothing to do with sports, which is fine. I highly encourage questions that don't have to do with sports, unless you want to ask them. But if you have something else random that you're wondering, please ask, because this is not a sports show. This is an anything show. Anything goes on Uncorked. But Brad asked if a straw has one or two holes, which this is one of those questions where it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So what I'm comparing this to is a tunnel. Does a tunnel have two holes? Because it's like, obviously there's two openings, but it's all the same hole. There's two ending circles on both sides. This is a good question. How can I figure out this answer? Have two holes. No. Wait. No, I feel like it's one hole because there's no ending to the hole. It's just one big hole, basically. Because there's no end. Does a straw have one or two holes? I think it's just a long tube. So it's basically one hole, like, expanded. I don't know. I think it could have two or one. I would accept either answer, but that's kind of a brain trick. And I don't know if there's a right answer. I mean, it has two ends. I'm just repeating myself over and over. This is really confusing and messing with my head. One hole on one end and two holes. Cover up one hole. I think it has two, because then it's like, okay, cover up that hole so that the water doesn't come out. So I'm thinking it might have two or one. I don't know. This is confusing me and making my head hurt really bad. Very unique question though, Brad. I appreciate that. And then lastly, this is a question I've been asked a couple times, but I'll touch on it very briefly again, because who doesn't love talking about the Iron Bowl of basketball, which is turning into a very intense rivalry, because we are a basketball state now, as well as a football state. We're a basketball state. The SEC runs through Alabama. Okay, that was I'm getting a little out of control here. Do you feel like Auburn basketball will be better than Alabama basketball this season? Okay, so Dunaway and I touched on this. Well, not in comparison, but just talking about Alabama last week. But this is a hard question, because on paper, he quoted someone, I can't remember who said this. Alabama might be the best team in the country on paper, but the game isn't played on paper. So I'll just quote Dunaway, because Dunaway knows everything. So what I'll say about this is Alabama's roster is very talented. And as you heard Dunaway say last week, it might be the most talented in Alabama basketball history. It might be the most talented in the country heading into next season. But there are a lot of factors that go into being the better team when it comes to on-court play. For example, how well do the players get along? How well do they mesh on the court? The locker room camaraderie. It's just, I mean, there's so many things that go into it. And there are a lot of teams, like Auburn went from winning the SEC tournament to losing in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So do you think they will be better? On paper, their roster is going to be ranked better before they ever play a game. But that doesn't always equate to how good of a season teams have. So this is quite literally an impossible question to answer because you never know until games are being played. Because if the team doesn't mesh well, if there's tension in the locker room, if there are problems, which I'm not saying that could just happen to Alabama, that could happen to Auburn as well. But you just never know. You never know how a team's going to gel. And while they do have people returning from last year's team, they also have a lot of transfers coming in. So, I mean, there's so much that goes into that. And it's an easy, definite answer on paper. Yeah, Alabama's going to have the better team. Alabama's going to have the better roster on paper. But as the great Jim Dunaway once said last week, the game isn't played on paper. So only time will be able to tell. And basketball is just, it's so hard to predict. They play so many games. The NCAA tournament is so unpredictable. There's always upsets. Every single year there are upsets. There are upsets in conference tournaments. It's impossible to tell. So I'm going to leave you with the answer that I don't know. And I don't think anyone knows. Unless you're asking about on paper, then the answer is obvious. But only time will tell. And I cannot wait for basketball season. But that's going to wrap up this week's episode. Thank y'all so much for watching. Remember to like this video, subscribe. I will be forever grateful. Tell your friends if you enjoyed it. I don't know why I just kind of spoke in a country accent. Tell your friends. But tell your friends if you enjoyed it. And encourage them to tune in. Let me know what y'all want to hear more about, less about in the comments. And submit your questions for next week. But until next time, y'all have a good week. And I will see you next Wednesday.